r/ask Reddit. What was the weirdest rumor you've ever heard about yourself? That I died. I crashed my motorcycle and no one could contact me for a bit. I got out of the hospital and I had a bunch of memorial messages posted on my Facebook. LOL. I bet they went pale when you came back from the dead. A lot of people from my old high school thought I died or vanished when I was hospitalized in junior year and then switched to a credit recovery program at night for senior year. Apparently this is because whenever anyone asked my younger brother what happened to me, he would shrug and make an I don't know noise. He doesn't love strangers or sharing personal info. James. Ted. Behold. For I have risen. Ted. Oh, you're back from the hospital? How's your arm? James. Go everywhere in the world and tell the good news to everyone. Anyone who believes and is baptized will be saved, but anyone who does not believe will be punished. Ted. You quoting scripture? James. I'm back like Jesus after he was burned at the stake. Ted. You got that verse memorized but you don't know he died on the cross? James. I saw light. Ted. When I crashed my motorcycle. Ted. You're Vespa. James. When I crashed my vehicle, the world went black and. Ted. I thought you said you saw light. James. It was like a black light. Ted. You're Catholic. Don't act like your parents never blacklighted your room to make sure you weren't diddling your giblets. Ted. Since when am I Catholic? James. Well, if you're not Catholic, maybe next time leave the debate about the circumstances of Jesus' death to the experts, eh? Ted. It's not a debate. He died at the crow. James. As I was saying, the world went blacklighty and the next thing I knew I was in the hospital and everyone was convinced I was dead. Ted. Name one person who thought you were dead. James. My dad. Look. He posted RIP on my wall. Ted. He says RIP $1,000 baby cycle. Last time we buy at James a scooter. Irresponsible and childish. James. Man. Will he be glad to know I'm still alive and that doesn't have to be the last time he buys me a locomotive cycling device. Somebody who I went to elementary school with told me that they thought I was so tall as a kid because they thought my mom had died when I was a young age, and somehow I turned a grief into size. My mom is still alive and well. For your information. Backed by science. 9 out of 10 dentists agree. My principal's wife started a rumor when I was around 10 that I was hanging out with a local journalist's daughter trying to figure out who killed JonBenet Ramsey using a Ouija board. My mom confronted me and quickly dropped it when she realized I had never heard of JonBenet Ramsey and didn't know what a Ouija board was. Hahaha, how does this even start? Absolutely no clue. She was a terrible person, and my neighbor growing up. When I was a child, the old lady in the apartment upstairs said that her son was stealing her fudge dessert, spread it on a plate, and slipping the plates under the door of another woman neighbor for her to eat. All for love, of course. She told this to everyone and told us kids to keep an eye out for that fudge demanding beach, who was married BTW. That I'm lesbian was in middle school and it wasn't a massive deal, but some concerned friends asked me if I was. I'm a guy. A girl who I thought was a friend spread a rumor that I was a lesbian and she saw me firsthand kissing another girl. What she really saw was me in a public washroom with a friend who had too much to drink. I was holding her hair and rubbing her back as she puked in a sink. To her that looked like making out. I come to school on the Monday and everyone thinks I am a lesbian and came out over the weekend. When I called the former friend out, she tried to backtrack and offered to buy me a pack of smokes to call it even. I don't smoke. So needless to say, that friendship was over, and almost 20 years later I run into old classmates who are shocked that I am married to a guy because they were for sure certain I was a lesbian. Not that there is anything wrong with being a lesbian. However, if I was, it was still a crappy thing for her to do. Danielle, you are an a-hole. My mom was talking to a coworker. They mentioned another coworker and he said that she always feels awkward around you. My mother, because she slept with your son. Insert my name here. Naturally, she felt a little weird finding that out. One day we were hanging out. She brought it up to me and so I asked who it was. Turns out, I didn't recognize the name. I looked her up and I've never even seen her. So I have someone lying about having slept with me and my mom has heard it. Talk about an awkward conversation. Sheesh. You should seek this woman out and give it to her good so that she never forgets it. I have been disconnected from most of my relatives. Everyone thinks I am busy and making lot of money. Me. Laughing so hard, looking at my bank balance. When I was 12, the neighborhood Avon lady came by to drop off my mom's order one day. Avon lady told her that she had heard I had slept with all of my guy friends, including her son. She also refused to tell my mom who she had heard this rumor from. I lost my virginity at 20 lol. What a creepy thing to say about your customer's 12-year-old kid. Similarly, I heard when I was 15 and still a virgin that I was engaging in regular gangbangs. And ergo, as a girl I was therefore a horrible person. I became friends with people years later during university who expressed their surprise over what a nice person I was. Nothing like the rumors had told them. It baffles me that people 1. Took the rumors seriously, and 2. If they really believed a 15-year-old was gangbanging every weekend, I would expect people to be worried rather than think the 15-year-old is a beach. Speaks volumes about people's attitudes. Edit. Removed a double word. I was working as a welder for a prominent artist in NYC. After a long day of welding, I was covered in soot and had caught on fire a few times that day, so was looking very raggedy. I ran into an old high school friend who I hadn't seen in years. This is pre-internet, so no Facebook, etc. We talked a bit, discussed the upcoming 10-year reunion, said our goodbyes and moved on. I did not attend the reunion, but about 5 years later I ran into another old friend who was amazed I was able to climb out of the gutter and get my life together. Semicolon. As it happens, my friend went to the reunion and reported I was homeless and destitute, covered in filth and living on the street. You should go to the next reunion and tell them the story of how you got your life out of the gutters and then tell them the real story. Actually would be so funny. You could ask the reunion committee if you could speak as an inspirational motivational speaker. I was just at a conference and went to bed after dinner one night. When I got up in the morning, everyone had heard I was the ringleader of a binge drinking run at the pub, followed by partying until 6 AM. Only I hadn't. When a rumor makes your life seem much more fun and exciting than it really is. I shoplift Pop-Tarts from the 7-Eleven next to my high school. Well, this looks like a confession to me. This is so tame yet so stupid. That I had gotten married and had 4 kids and a 5th on the way. This was being circulated by a guy I hadn't seen in several years. I've never been married or pregnant. Same thing happened to me. Unbeknownst to me, something was going around in high school about me dying from cancer. Became a big thing and the principal eventually called my parents about it, since the school needed to know if they had a sick student or something. Obviously they didn't know what he was talking about because I wasn't sick, and eventually had to have a meeting in the principal's office about it later that day. I walk in after being called down and they ask me why I'm pretending to be sick. I was floored at first because this was the first time I was hearing about this rumor. Had to convince them that I didn't know what they were talking about. Were you in school during this period? Why were you out so long for this to manifest? Yep, was in school. I remember thinking about it after the fact, and there were some people who were overly nice to me and asking how I was a couple days prior, but nobody overtly said or asked about anything. I asked my closer friends about it and they said they had heard about it that day and weren't sure how to approach it yet. One said that he figured I wouldn't have brought it up to him if I wanted to talk about it, which was fair for me. I had a friend in middle school where a similar rumor somehow started. For a week or so he had random people coming up to him, telling him that they heard he had leukemia and they wanted him to know they had him in their thoughts. But he was perfectly healthy. In our circle of friends, his nickname throughout the rest of middle school and high school was Leukemia Boy. That I love eating ass. I do, but it was before I knew that I did. Wouldn't have minded that rumor about me in high school. Mayo, I love salad too. That I am gay. This was started by a couple ladies who worked for me. They were aware that I am married to a woman and we have a son. They refused to accept that I was straight because I didn't flirt with them or any other woman. I found it hilarious then and it's still hilarious now. You don't find me attractive and you are therefore gay. The ego had been pumped up so big by so many thirsty men. In middle school, a girl spread a rumor that I was gay because I was hanging out with my friend, who was a girl, at a party, so she told everyone she saw us kiss. This is a long shot, but I knew a girl who did exactly this. Her reasons? Because she had a crush on that girl she had accused, in hopes to oust the girl so she could truly see if she was gay or not and go out with her. I've seen a couple gay guys use this tactic as well. This sounds like the equivalent to, he picks on you because he likes you, but for high schoolers. New manager at my old job told people I was a racist for not introducing myself to her in a timely manner. She's black. I am white. She had a habit of calling a lot of people racist though, so no one took her seriously. In Ms. HS, I was the unpopular kid who somehow landed a semi-hot mid-social class girl. The rumors going around were that I was forcing her to be my girlfriend or I would kill her dog. Then that turned into me abusing her emotionally and physically because she always wore long sleeves. Then people thought she broke up with me, so people thought I would shoot up the school. The rumor persisted to the point where I was not allowed to do certain activities for a few days until I got pissed and called my parents. After that, the rumor was that I threatened the principal with violence, and that is why I got to hang out with the rest of the kids at lunch again. Then the school thought me and the girl were back together because we had managed to sneak around and have sex for the first time. She told her friend and that got around school. The next day everyone wanted her to show them her arms. They thought I beat her and raped her. We only broke up when she went to college and broke up with me the next year at Christmas. That I was a witch, and I sacrificed a bunny. I was 14. So here's the story. I was super shy. We moved when I was in the middle of my freshman year, into an ammo plant base. Military housing but not military town. Dad got promoted to full-time in the National Guard. Just so happened to be many other teens living on base. Right next door to us was a 14-year-old boy. He had long hair, and I immediately got a crush on him. He asked me out a week after we moved in. But what I didn't know was that he had an on-again off-again thing going with the girl who lived 2 houses down. She befriended me my first day of school. When he asked me out, I gushed about it to her. She and the other girls said nothing to me that she still had feelings for him. So he and I dated for several months, and had a fight and broke up. It lasted less than a weekend. But in that time she tried to swoop in and get him back. I still had no idea, but he decided I was the better option. At this point she tells her super religious parents that I'm a witch, and this dead bunny she found in the park nearby was sacrificed by me to keep the guy my boyfriend. Her parents came over to talk to my parents. I came out of my room a couple times and they got quiet, but I was oblivious. Then they leave and my parents come to talk to me. I was really confused, and at first couldn't believe my friend would say this about me. Of course it gets around the whole school. I was too quiet to defend myself, unless someone asked me specifically. I didn't even know all the details until her best friend decided she had enough of her crazy, and became my friend. Apparently she had been getting to know me only to undermine me to this boy the whole time. And when he chose me over her, when she thought she had finally won him back, in a contest I didn't even know about, she lost it. It was really weird, and how she came up with that, I have no idea. In the end, the boy moved away, and she got a bad reputation for being crazy. I wasn't the only person she had attacked, so eventually people just forgot her rumors. She ended up switching schools for it a year later. In high school I heard a rumor that I had spent the Easter playing Pokemon and making out with this really socially awkward guy. He started the rumor. I am a guy, and still to this day I don't know what the duck was up with that, but at least username checks out. You don't have to run from it. You and I both evolved that day. Now let me see those Pokeballs one last time. That I was an Iraqi spy. I'm Dominican, and my ancestry is very mixed, so I'll look very ethnically ambiguous. Most commonly, people think I'm South Asian or Middle Eastern or North African. I was in the Navy from 2000 to 2004, and I was stationed overseas in Japan from 2001 to 2004 at a Comstar, and so I was on shore command and often walked around on base and had an apartment off base. After 9/11, I'd get weird emails from people and strange looks. Come to find out, there was a rumor going around from my command and other shore commands and even some ships that there was an Iraqi woman at Comstar and that I was a spy and connected to Bin Laden somehow. Never mind that I had a top secret clearance and had to do numerous interviews with NCIS. LOL. It was weird. My friend once told me he thought I had a mom fetish. Would like to know the reasoning behind this one. Long story, I used to hang out on this Discord server with several gamer moms and said friend found out. Very intense social call that day. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content bruh. It's free and that's a great price.